This is not a horror movie in the way you expect. There are no jump scares, no soundtrack guiding your emotions, no dialogue, no explanation, just black and white image that looks like it was dug out of the ground. This is Begotten, a film so visually disturbing that many people turn it off within minutes, not because they're bored, but because something about it feels deeply wrong. It doesn't feel like a movie, it feels like evidence. Directed in 1990 by Elias Mehenge, Begotten does not feel like a movie made for an audience. It feels like something recovered, something ancient, something you were never supposed to find. Shot in harsh black and white, degraded until the image looked closer to rotting film stock rather than cinematography, Begotten contains no dialogue, no traditional characters, no clear plot, and no comfort. What it offers instead is a sequence of ritualistic, symbolic events that feel more like a nightmare than a narrative. People often describe it as the most disturbing film they have ever seen, not because of classic horror tropes, but because it feels wrong in a way that is difficult to explain. And to understand why, you have to stop thinking of it as a horror movie and start thinking of it as a myth being performed on camera. The first thing viewers notice is the texture. The image is violently grainy, whites bloom into the frame, blacks swallow detail, movement smears across the screen. It looks less like film and more like surveillance footage from a forgotten century. Elias achieved this by processing the footage repeatedly, rephotographing, degrading, and distressing the film until it looked like a decaying artifact. The result is something that doesn't resemble cinema, it resembles a ritual you were never meant to see. The film begins inside a small, ruined structure. A figure sits alone. This figure is credited as God killing himself. He moves slowly, painfully, scraping at his own body with a razor. Eventually, he disembowels himself in a ritualistic act of self-destruction. There is no music, no explanation, only the sound of movement and the oppressive silence in the room. And the thing is, this isn't presented as shocking violence, it's presented as a ceremony. The camera does not rush. The scene lasts uncomfortably long. You are forced to watch. Eventually, the figure collapses and dies, and from the body, something is born. Mother Earth. She writhes out of the remains, covered in blood and fluid, and collapses on the ground. The implication is clear without words. Creation has occurred through destruction. Life is born from the death of a god. There is something deeply unsettling about Begotten that viewers struggle to describe. It's not just what happens, it's how it happens. The movements are unnatural. The frame pulses like something breathing. You feel like you are watching something that predates language. There are no cuts in the way you expect, no narrative pacing, just prolonged suffering, birth, decay, and ritual movement. Using the disemboweled corpse's fluids, Mother Earth impregnates herself, later giving birth to a fully matured yet malformed man, but abandons him in the wilderness. This man is named the Son of Earth. After wandering across the barren landscape, she re-encounters the sun. They move together across the terrain, but their journey is slow and painful. Every step looks exhausting. A group of silent, faceless figures follow them, eventually surrounding Mother Earth and the Son of Earth. Without emotional explanation, they begin beating the Son of Earth repeatedly. Mother Earth watches. She does not intervene. These faceless followers dismember and bury the Son. This scene is one of the most difficult in the film, not because of graphic content, but because of how long it lasts. It is methodical, repetitive, and ritualistic. Nothing in Begotten is explained. No dialogue, text, or narration, only symbols. God dies, Earth is born, a son is created, the sun is beaten, the earth continues. Many interpret this as a distorted retelling of creation myths, combining religious imagery with pagan, biblical, and primal symbolism. Others see it as a statement about cycles. Destruction creating life, life creating suffering, suffering creating continuation. The faceless men may represent humanity, or time, or inevitability. The film refuses to confirm any interpretation, and that refusal is part of what makes it unsettling. Most films guide you, even confusing ones provide some clues. Begotten provides None. No emotional anchor, no character to sympathise with, no moment of relief. You are simply observing something that appears to be happening according to rules you don't understand. That lack of orientation creates anxiety. Your brain searches for structure and finds none. The longer you watch, the more it feels like you are witnessing something real rather than fiction. Not because it's realistic, but because it's incomprehensible. And the crazy thing is, this film predates found footage horror. These days on YouTube it's everywhere. But this releasing in 1990 feels like the purest version of it. The grain, the distortion, the unnatural motion, it's like you are watching something that wasn't created. At the end of the film, after the Son of Earth is captured, dismembered and buried by the faceless figures, you see the body parts placed into the ground, the figures performing almost agricultural motions, the land being worked, turned, covered, and Mother Earth wandering again through the same barren landscape. Nothing dramatic happens. No climax, no final act of violence, just repetition. The film begins with God kills himself, Earth is born. It ends with humanity kills the sun, life is planted back into the earth. The murder is not the ending, the burial is, because the burial is a planting. The faceless figures don't act like murderers, they act like farmers. They aren't destroying him, they are returning him to the soil. The film completes the cycle. The beginning shows creation through death, the ending shows creation through death. The son of the earth being dismembered and buried is shown like sowing seeds. The message is, life only continues through destruction, which is why the final shot feels so quiet and unresolved. It's not meant to end the story, it's meant to suggest it will happen again. When you see Mother Earth wandering again at the end, it mirrors the middle of the film. Begotten's story is built around the idea of creation myths. The death of a god killing himself becomes a form of self-sacrifice as Mother Earth emerges from and impregnates herself with his remains, a form of divine origin and transcendence, with Mother Earth and Son of Earth being loosely based on the Virgin Mary and Jesus. When the film's initial screenings took place in the late 80s, early 90s, viewers reportedly walked out during the opening sequence. Many thought it was unwatchable, not because it was boring, but because it made them physically sick. Critics were split between calling it pretentious noise and visionary experimental horror. It didn't get a wide theatrical run, it lived in midnight screenings, art house circuits, and VHS and DVD circulation. Over time, it built a cult reputation as the film people dare each other to finish. Certain venues stopped screenings due to audience reactions. Some festivals refused to play it after preview viewings, and some video stores often refused to stock it because it was too disturbing for customers. For these reasons, people think Begotten was banned, but it wasn't. People simply didn't want to show it. And even though you may have never heard of it before, being a tiny film that released over 40 years ago, it did influence countless artists in horror, music videos, and experimental cinema. Its aesthetics can be seen in analog horror, found footage, and modern experimental films that attempt to create unease through degradation and silence. But none could truly replicate its effect. You are not meant to understand Begotten. You are meant to witness it. And that is what makes it linger long after the screen goes black.